come on here and go over what I'm doing for the early slate. I'm not exactly sure if Bobby's coming. I think he is. But if not, I'll just go over mine. Hope everybody's been doing well. I would like to shout out, Canine Bronco. You've been, if he's here, I mean, you've been doing pretty well recently. I'm really glad to see that. I'm particularly glad to see anybody do well, obviously. But he's been around for a while, and it's always good to see people who work hard start to see the fruits of their labor, so to speak. I actually did do an update for the early slate projections. It just actually uploaded right now. Let me just confirm that, but I literally did that just before I came on here. Let me see. Just make sure it got up there. I'm pretty sure I did. I know I did. I just wanted to see when it uploaded. Yeah, 11:52. Yeah, so that's so we're good.
I'm here.
Oh yeah, I got you, Bobby. So yeah, Sharks, they no problem. PGA and MMA, and I did the same thing this week as last week. I did kind of an MMA pre-look yesterday, and I'm gonna do an updated look tomorrow. That worked out really, really well last week, so we're gonna continue to do that. So yeah, just to let everybody know, sorry about yesterday. I'm having my daughter came back from vacation with COVID the other night, and actually there was some complications, let's put it that way, necessitating me to literally drop everything I was doing, go into New York and make sure she was okay, which she is doing much better now. But yeah, so I had to skedaddle. Part of, as Bobby will know, and as a lot of you in this chat know, and some of you will, I mean, having kids is rough business. And when your responsibility ends? Never. Literally never.
It never ends.
Never. And when they're in their, in their formative years, let's put it that way, it's like my daughter is old enough to sort of be on her own, but not really. So I still feel as though I have to be on top of everything she's doing. I'm still treat her as my baby, yet still she's also a grown up. It's a rough time. In any case,
as you said, it never ends.
Never ends. She's much better.
That's great.
Well, she's better. Let's put it that way. And then I'm supposed to go away this the end of this weekend, and as of now, we're still going. Not to mention the fact that I have to make sure she's okay before I go anywhere. We also have just massive work stoppages and shortages in airports all over the world that are canceling flights. So we'll see. If we actually make it, it'd be an absolute miracle. But for now, we're still going. All right. Joanne says, do you have any Cincinnati, Chicago for early slate? So I need you to kind of talk me off the ledge, not talk me off the ledge, talk me, I guess, on the ledge. I need you to talk me off of what I'm doing here in the early slate. I couldn't quite decide whether I wanted to play one of the Tylers, Anderson or Molly, so I'm probably going to play them both. So we'll just
I'm playing. I mean, I'm not playing many lines because there wasn't many tournaments by the time I had. But the one thing I absolutely knew I would do is I'd play Molly.
Yeah, would you play Anderson too?
I don't see any reason to go after Anderson particularly. I mean, McClanahan is basically I think he's the best DFS pitcher in baseball this season by a pretty long ways, and hasn't had a bad start yet. I don't see any reason to come off of him. You could say, the righties in the lineup doesn't worry me with a guy like him. One of the elite arms in baseball. one of the best K rates, maybe the best K rate in baseball. Even against a team that doesn't strike out a ton, he's 8,700 where he should be like 11.7. So I think it's Molly and McClanahan for me. Burns is obviously a great option in general. I think this is a matchup where I could at least see them getting to him, and Cease is a great pitcher. So you could make an argument, on playing him against even the Dodgers, but the Dodgers who have gotten cold, I actually like the idea of playing some of the Dodgers today. You have nice hitting weather in Chicago. I don't think the Dodgers are going to be. I mean, look, it's a 4-game slate. You can't get that far off the board. But I think that playing the Dodgers against Cease, who, as good as he is exactly. I mean, it doesn't matter how good these righties are in general with the Dodgers. They tend to get to them, and you finally have good hitting weather for the first time for them for a while. So I would play the Dodgers where you can rarely get them low, which is a rarity. And I probably would stay away from most of Cincinnati and Arizona, who are going to be overowned, in my opinion.
It's kind of interesting that what we've come to in that the Dodgers are fighting with the Reds and the Diamondbacks for having the highest run total. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, and it's not, and they're significantly lower than those guys are too.
Right. So I'm going to tell you what I'm doing because it's only 25 minutes to post time, and there's literally nobody that's going to do what I'm doing anyway. So I don't mind saying it. This is really just a construction that is made for probably I should get paid more if this actually comes in. But I'm just so pumped by the way this looks that I'm doing anyway. So everything that you said made sense, but what I'm doing the opposite. So I'm not playing Burns. I'm not playing McClanahan.
Well, I'm not playing Burns either.
Oh no, but hold on. But I'm not playing Burns. I'm not playing McClanahan. I'm actually playing the Cardinals against McClanahan in my big lineup, and I'm going to go with the Phillies. So I'm doing a decent amount of Cardinals. I just imagine McClanahan's going to be just really, really chalky. Like you said, for all the good reasons. I mean, he's clearly the best play. But on a 4-game slate, I'm going to try it. And I am going to play both the cheapos, both Tyler Anderson and Tyler O'Malley. And it's really just 4-game slate screwiness. There's really no need to do it, but that just in pure transparency, that's what I am doing. So we'll just see what happens. And in my McClanahan lineups, because I do have some of them, I mean they're paired with all kinds of kookiness. Like they're paired with I have Davies in one. I have like Eflin. I have like who else? So I also have a Mikolas lineup. And the other thing I'm doing is leaving some money on the table. So that's it's 4-game slate stuff for me. And we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, like after doing all that, you probably don't even need to leave money on the table because you're getting pretty different, which is great.
Yeah.
I like the idea with the especially as it applies to the Phillies. I think that that's a really interesting way to go. Because I do think that, especially you don't need to fully stack. Like again, if you're trying to make 5-man stacks on this, if it happens, it happens.
Right.
There is no reason you have to try to do that. I just think that people are overrate correlation, especially on these smaller slates, and it really isn't. I mean, the more you look at it, I mean, you see cash game lineups these days with better numbers than the tournament lineups. You know what I mean? Because people are just picking their favorite bats out, and then there's going to be a couple guys who hit 2 home runs, and then no offenses really go all the way off, except for every now and then it'll happen. But like Atlanta yesterday was the only team that really went off, and it's just interesting to me. So I actually like treating this more like a grab some bats that you like and figure out the rest later.
Hey, can I talk to you for a minute about yesterday's slate? Because I wasn't around.
It was the worst. Yeah, yesterday was just for me was the worst I've done this whole year. I had 0 cashes on DraftKings.
Okay, so I want to talk to you about it more from the perspective of what people were looking at and what people were talking about. Because again, I missed it, right? I looked at my projections, I looked at stuff, and literally I put my stuff in and I left for the day.
And you were in first for the 777 for a while.
Yeah, so hang on. And this is what I ended up doing. I played one lineup, and I played it, or actually then I entered it in the 777, the 250, and like literally three entries in the lottery. And then I just made like one kind of change to make to make, like a couple of different lineups, you know what I mean? But it's like basically everything except for one pivot. So it's like the same lineup. And I put in the Discord, what I liked. And the way I had it in my thing, I had Ian Anderson and Bieber and as my pitchers. And remember, this is all like 1 PM, right? Ian Anderson and Bieber. And then my favorite stacks were Philly, Tampa, and somebody else, I forget. And I think I like the Dodgers, right? So I ended up going with Philly and Tampa with those two pitchers. So so then the slate starts and I look at the ownership and I see, okay, I'm sure I'm getting huge chalk, whatever. And I see Bieber was like 7% owned, right?
Yeah, because
I want to get to that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the hell's going on here? I mean, did I miss something? And so he's cruising, he's rolling. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to make all the money. And then I see the delay, right? I'm like, oh, this shouldn't be a problem. And then I get home, and then now I'm catching up. And apparently this was like the super sharp take, apparently, of the entire universe, right? That it was that Roth or a couple of people came out and said, oh, this could be dangerous. This could delay, and then whatever. And okay, it made sense. This is why Bieber was 6% owned, and I suppose, right? And he still ended up with 19 fantasy points, right? For openers,
which wouldn't have been good for his price, but yeah.
No, of course not, right?
Yeah.
But my question is this: I saw all kinds of like weird victory laps being done by, oh, I'm glad we followed this. I'm glad we didn't do this. But it's like he was only 7% owned. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he was 9 in the 777. But yeah, I hear you. There was definitely an argument to be made for him. I mean, Nola went out and just absolutely smashed.
Is that what happened?
Well,
he ended up being chalk, Nola.
Nola was one of the chalks, but like on FanDuel was only 14% owned. I mean, it wasn't like I could see an argument for both sides. I wasn't going to play Bieber at anything over $50.
So who did everybody play? Was Eovaldi chalky?
Eovaldi was the most chalky pitcher.
Okay. And by the way, what ended up happening, I ended up cashing and everything.
That's great. No, it's great.
Yeah. I hung on because you know what? Because Bieber had his 19 fantasy points in like 2 innings or something like that.
I know. No, I know. And for a minute there, it was looking like a genius thing.
And Tampa went ballistic. And then Harper hit a freaking 3-run home run in the ninth to further pad that. And I held on against all these other late night games and like all that stuff. So I ended up cashing all of them. So I was just wondering what was like our Discord. Were we talking about like that Cleveland thing being like a weather thing? I mean, we had the postpone figured out pretty good on the. Well, the delay figured out pretty good on the Cleveland thing.
Okay. But we also thought there was a chance of postponing. And then the game that was postponed was, I said that you're either just you gotta just close your eyes and stack it, or you're gonna have to completely fade it. So I don't think we had people get hurt by all that stuff too much. It still just kind of threw off my lineups a little bit because I really liked the Cubs yesterday and wasn't able to do that. So for me personally, it hurt. But yeah, you had some. I mean, the Tampa stack was a great one. I considered it for a while all day, but I just couldn't quite get there. And mostly because I didn't like the individual hitters that were in the lineup. But hey, if you put up 11 runs, even if it's no home runs.
I'm telling you, that guy's the nuts, that Orejo guy.
Which one?
On Tampa.
What's his name?
Orejo, some dude against 7 like 20.
Be whatever. Yeah. No, I know. It was weird. He was topped up on like every show yesterday, and then like nobody played him.
I love that.
That's exactly what happens all the time.
Yeah.
There are a few questions that I'm just going to address real quick. Prioritizing Dodger bats for me. I guess my top 4 would be. I guess my top 5 would be. I mean, I like all of them. This is the Dodgers. Like I know they've been struggling, but we do get Muncy back today. I'll be happy to play that. Muncy, Freeman, Betts, Bellinger, and Trey Turner are in no particular order. Probably would have Betts and Trey Turner at the top, but I don't think that's it's pretty standard. But it's I like all of them. So I would stick to those guys. A little less interest in Justin Turner for me. Obviously Will Smith is always a good play. And then
I'm using a decent amount of Lux at second base, actually.
Yeah, I think that Lux is a really solid play. I got no issue with that one. Was there another question there? Oh, is it wrong to full fade a Cincy in a full stack to get different? So just no playing Cincy in one lineup. Of course, that's not wrong. No, there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't think I'm playing any Cincy.
Yeah, I've got a couple pieces, but it's only because like it's combined with Dodgers and Molly and all this other stuff. I do think Molly has like sneaky could win the slate kind of upside, but there's another.
I agree with. I think so.
Yeah, he's maybe he'll pull a Hunter Green for us.
You playing any Cease?
No,
I'm not playing.
I only have one lineup.
Yeah.
So if I did, I would be mixing in those guys. This is a good pitch. There's good pitchers on this slate. I'm a little surprised that the Milwaukee run total isn't higher. I know that Eflin's had 2 really awesome outings out of his last 3. But you can get to Eflin when he blows up big time. So I would consider Milwaukee a pretty strong play as well. And their run total might keep.
Meanwhile, I must be hallucinating because like this Brujan. I mean, I think he's the nuts, but he doesn't do anything. I'm looking at his stats here.
No, I know everybody loves him, but it's right. He doesn't do much.
But yesterday he did really well, and they rewarded him by batting him 9th today. So we'll see what happens.
Wait a minute. You're talking about yeah. I'm sorry. I almost like forgot with Mikolas pitching, I just generally don't play the other side of it. Like, so I didn't notice even. Yeah, I know he had his first real game, but there is like rumors of him being talented.
He swings it hard. I remember a few games I was watching him. He really swings hard.
Yeah, the one who and there's these guys, like, even if you're sort of platooning for Tampa Bay, you're probably a pretty good player. They just have a lot of guys who are pretty good.
I told you I'm playing some lineups, so I played a couple of Mikoloses.
What's that?
I played a couple of Mikoloses.
Yeah, I could see that being a worthwhile play for sure. He's way too cheap. I would consider this if I needed money on a big slate. The Mikolas Molly McClanahan, the triple M's.
Hey, the triple M. I got the double Tylers, so we'll see.
Yeah. I like, for what it's worth, these guys in Chicago just don't hit righties anymore for some reason, but they do hit lefties. So Andrew Vaughn and Jose Abreu and Luis Robert all stand out as pretty strong plays. You can make Berger if you want to make a mini stack against Tyler Anderson. Anderson, good real life pitcher, has obviously, as everybody does, usually improves when they come to the Dodgers. And I think that this is a spot where I could see him getting into potentially some trouble, though, with those, specifically Vaughn, Robert, and Abreu. But you can throw Pollock and Berger in the mix. All of those guys are, I think, reasonable. All right. So what did you end up doing golf-wise? I didn't play.
Yeah. So what I did was I set I really went over construction a lot in my video because I really felt as though people were going to play a lot of 210K and up guys because there was the appearance the mid range was not so strong. So I actually did, for the first time in a while, I did an actual set rule on even using SaberSim where I would only play a max of one guy over 10K and just kind of roll with it. And we're going to see how it kind of turns out. But I did get a decent amount of Fitzpatrick, who's tied for first. Now he's chalky, but I ended up with I don't know. It's hard for me to tell in one day. But I didn't play a lot of the 10Ks. Let's put it that way. I had no lineup with more than one, which is I think going to be a different type of construction. We'll see.
Yeah, I would have probably been high on the Canadians, so Connors would be scaring me right now. I would have been high on Hadwin, who had a nice, fine first day, and I would have definitely played some Mackenzie Hughes as well. But that's all I can promise is that I would have played the Canadians. I don't know what else I would have done on this slate.
What'd you think of the basketball game last night?
I mean, look, when you watch these teams play, they don't look like they're even close. The Celtics look like a whole different level of team than Golden State. But with that shooting, you can keep yourself in games. I mean, it's weird because I would say that like Dallas missed a million open threes. Like they were of all teams in the playoffs over the past 5 years, they were the worst in terms of expected conversion rates for open shots. The Memphis should have won that series even without Ja, but with Ja, I think would have won that series in like 6. And I don't think this Golden State team is really has the stuff. I think what you're going to see is the question is, will they react to it on the road or will they do it at home in Game 5? I think you're going to see Kuminga get minutes because they just can't. I mean, when you're getting out rebounded by like 70%, you know what I mean? Like you're losing 70% of the rebounds. And it's just so hard to win that way. I mean, first of all, Boston's shooting 60% from the floor, and then every time they miss, they're getting an offensive rebound like 35% of the time. It's just almost impossible to win. So they need to get more size out there. I thought they should have used Bjelica more for just to play him alongside Looney, but I really don't know what they're going to do because they just don't have the size. And every position they're smaller than Boston is, and Boston is quicker, more athletic. And it's a tough situation. So I would try and get Kuminga on the court and Gary Payton more if I was the Golden State. And I think that's what they're going to do.
It's funny, I'm dealing with that right now with this AAU team that I'm helping out with. They're just incredibly efficient offensively. I mean, and they're the one thing that they have that is just kind of preventing them from getting over the top is their offensive rebounding percentage rate is just not quite good enough to kind of get them in those games and overall rebounding. So it's harder with AAU because you don't have that many you don't have that many places to go. With personnel. I mean, the only thing you can do is maybe change schemes, like send more guys to the glass or something. It's not like they don't want to rebound. It's not so easy to say rebound. Come on, rebound harder. You know what I mean? Like it's not so easy. Like grow 8 inches. You know what I mean? It's not exactly like that.
Right.
But in the NBA, I mean, they do have a couple of options. If that's really what they think is a big deal. But
it's just the size.
I'll say Looney's been playing well. It's just that he needs to help in there.
But there's no rim support, no rim protection from him at all.
No.
And that's what happens. You see these guys, and every time a Golden State guy gets to the rim, you've got Robert Williams there and Al Horford, and then you come on the other side and you just there's no help at all.
No.
And I think if you get Peyton who's just a great athlete and try to get Peyton and Kuminga minutes, you can try to find and mix them with Clay, Steph, and even playing Kuminga at the 5, I think would be better off for them in some ways, or playing him alongside Looney. But the main thing is just to get bigger on the perimeter, and because they're muscling him down. I mean, you end up with so many plays where Steph is guarding Jason Tatum, and it's just not going to work.
What did Bjelica get? He got like 4 minutes or something like that, right?
Yeah, he got to play in the first half a little bit, and it was sort of their chance. It's what you hope for.
Yeah.
He was in, Peyton was in, and I played them together in my big ones, and it was actually going great for a while because they finally stopped a little bit of the bleeding. They were down, by like 18 points. They got it within like 11. And then you're sort of hoping they keep the charge going. And then it was back to 18 in a minute. So then they came back out and brought in all the starters again. But if they could put a little longer of a run together, we might have seen a lot of them. Those 4 minutes could have easily been 18 minutes in the game, depending on, of course, how it shook out. But it was a really good game to watch. It was fun to watch Golden State come back. That third quarter stuff that they do is really incredible. Like, I mean, I've never seen a team like this, like where everybody knows it's coming. Everybody knows they're going to make some adjustments, and they always do a little something different, and they go on a crazy run.
The other, I hope Curry's not hurt, obviously.
Yeah, he said it. He said he should be okay.
Good job, Joanne. Joanne's got 3 9Ks and 3 7Ks in golf. That's pretty much what I was recommending. So hopefully that works out.
Yeah. Oh, and Finau seemed cheap for the field size.
He did. I liked him, but I got a little greedy as far as ownership goes. I just didn't. I thought he would be too choppy.
Yeah, a lot of and there's a lot of guys who still haven't played yet. So I'm kind of disappointed. I'm always disappointed after I haven't played golf, but I just didn't do the research to get it done yesterday.
Yep.
All right. So do you want to get out of here and we can record for the night?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. All right. Good luck to everybody.
Okay, later.